not quite familiar with it, but it should work now. We should be live.
Hello world, or g'day from Australia. I'm Monsoon Mel.
Is there anybody in there already? I don't know. I don't see anyone. But they should all know what's going on. So I don't know. Maybe it's just the weird time for the people here in Germany, you know. They are still working.
Yes, or getting ready for work because it's a Friday. I've finished work, so I'm from the future. So it's 6 p.m. in the Friday afternoon here in Australia. And people can always watch the replay, which is the thing. I'm just excited to be able to actually chat with you, Patrick. Of course, this is our first time actually chatting live. So this is really cool.
Yeah, I really wanted to do that. So, yeah, it's basically for me, it's the first time doing that, not alone. You know, I had some live streams, but I never had it with someone else. So that is basically the first time for me. I don't know. That is my comment showing in the screen. I don't know why. I did that a week before or something.
Oh, I remember that one. Yeah, I think that was like our last message because it is going to be fun, and like, you know, harmonica is fun. Like it's you know, you get to meet people from literally all over the world. Like, you know, I live in, you know, North Queensland, Australia, in like, you know, sort of basically a tiny little town. Like I think we're 250,000 people for towns. We're the second biggest in the state, but still basically like it's a small town, and I very rarely see anybody that plays harmonica. Like it's a bit unusual.
Yeah, the strange thing is that I live in Germany. You know, that's basically the motherland of harmonica. It's home of Hona. It's home of Seidel.
Yep.
But believe me, it's the blues scene isn't even that big here in Germany. You might find other kinds of harmonica stuff, you know, but blues playing is rarely a thing here. You need to go to the States or something like that to find that. So, by the way, just to show you, here she is.
You've got the golden melody.
My latest purchase, you know, the golden melody.
Let me have. And it's fairly close.
It's a decent harmonica, you know, but to be honest, it is a little bit strange because I'm coming from I usually play crossovers, you know, and it is different to play. I have to say that.
I'm not sure.
But it is a decent harmonica.
It is a good harmonica. I'm not sure where mine's hiding at the moment, but I've got the empty box from my unboxing because, like yourself, I wanted to buy one. I'd never had a golden melody. I didn't really have a need for like that equal temperament harmonica. Like I've got a few custom harps, and I've talked to like you know, people when you're getting like things made, and I've asked about like, yeah, should I get equal temperament, which is what a golden melody is, and most of them basically just recommend a compromised tuning. So yeah, the golden melody was like the first equal tuned harp, except for some Lee Oscars that I've had. So yeah, I was pretty excited to get one. I think it's going to like turn out to be a bit of a classic. Although the new one's quite interesting as well. It looks intriguing.
Yeah, I started off playing Lee Oscars, but to be honest, these days I don't find them to be good anymore. So they seem to be. I don't want to talk shit on Lee Oscars or something like that.
Yep.
But they seem to be very leaky for me and just not very airtight anymore.
I'm lucky because like I'm sort of in my music room and I'm almost 50, so like I sort of born in the 70s and like through the 80s and 90s, like I've actually got one usually hiding over here. Let's see. Yeah, so this is one of my marine bands from the 80s.
That's even a totally different case, right?
Yeah, so this is so like I was like a kid, like I was saving up pocket money to buy this. This was an expensive harmonica, and like I'd always wanted one because like we didn't have the internet either back then, but like you hear all the stories about like the classic marine band. So like I got one, and like I'll play a bit of it for you. It's horrible.
Oh yeah.
It's really airy. So like, and it's like the wood comb and everything. So like after I finally got one, I thought, oh, what's this thing like? And I went on to Lee Oscars from then, and like Lee Oscars were my first sort of. I didn't get a chromatic set, but I had like 7 Lee Oscars in. Funnily enough, in this harmonica case, and that's what I used to carry around with me everywhere.
Wow,
nice
does that like come with them, or did you buy that? Did you have to buy that individually then? Right?
Extra, yeah. That was an add-on extra for the case because the Lee Oscars are cool because they sort of clip together. But so I played Lee Oscars.
I remember that because I had a whole set. And then they clip together like
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so the case was sort of cool. So so I played them for ages because like honestly the Honers at the time, like it was right in the middle of the 80s and the 90s, and it was just really hard to get a good one, and they were expensive. And I've really only I've gone back to Hone a little bit.
Just a moment, I want to say good morning to Astrid because we have a viewer here, so we have to say good morning because it's polite to say good morning.
Or possibly good evening, because I am from the future.
But she seems to be in Germany, so
okay, cool.
She should be the same time as I am, which would make it good morning, right?
Yep. So good morning.
So why don't you tell me a little bit how you started to play harmonica? Because that would really be interesting for me to hear.
I could do a little sort of story sort of thing. So I was actually I'll use a prop. I'll just quickly grab this because like I am in the room with all the harmonicas. So I was really lucky. My grandfather played harmonica, and he used to play in like harmonica bands, like sort of back in the 50s and 60s in Australia. We had like radio orchestras, and people would play those like really big harmonicas and the little diatonics, and they'd have like groups of sort of like 5 or 10 people. So he taught me to play this, which is an Echo Vamper, which was the European version.
I never had an Echo, to be honest.
Okay. So like, this is literally the first harmonica I ever played on. I was like sort of 4 years old. She still works really well, actually, when it's the right way up.
Oh, that still
even
sounds
overblows.
Good.
Yeah. So my granddad taught me how to play, and basically, look, I love music. Like I went on to play trumpet, and I played saxophone in like dance bands and things when I was sort of like a teenager and young adult. And but I always loved harmonica, and like it always sort of stayed with me. And it was really sort of getting like it wasn't a chromatic instrument, so that was like a little bit frustrating. Like I was playing in an orchestra, I was like reading sheet music. So like you're reading music and you're sort of trying to play it on this harp thing, and it doesn't sort of work. But like I kept with it, and like I always enjoyed it, and there was always one like in a car or in a bag or something. And when it sort of got around to the it was the millennium, I think, or maybe a little bit later. Yeah, around 2010, I sort of thought, I should like sort of pick up the music a little bit again, because like I hadn't been playing much saxophone or harmonica. And so I started going to open mics with both. And honestly, I just really enjoyed playing the harmonica more, and really just sort of focused on that. Thought this could be really fun if I like, maybe get a teacher or something, because like, except for my granddad, like I just don't see anybody playing harmonica. I think I saw Xavier Rudd, who's like an Australian artist, live. So like that was sort of like the one like professional harmonica I'd seen in like sort of 30 years. So I was surfing around on YouTube, and I found Jason's videos, Jason Ricky, and I sort of thought, oh
yeah,
wow,
Jason is like amazing, you know.
yeah. So I sort of thought, oh, like this guy looks pretty awesome, and hit him up for some lessons and things, and just sort of went on from there. So now
So
I've
I take it he was your teacher then later
yes.
on.
Yeah. So sort of from 2016, and just from like sort of having a chat with him, and doing lessons and things, we just sort of became friends over the years, and now we're sort of good mates and chatting things. And he's the one that's like encouraged me to do all of this. Like he's the one that like pushed me out to the open mics, said come on, you're good enough, go to an open mic, you sort of so you sort of see me on like YouTube and things, and like this where like I'm talking and things all the time. I'm actually very shy, and so the way that I got to an open mic was I bought myself this massive Fender amplifier. It's like I've got a Vibrolux. It's like almost 3,000 Australian dollars, and so I'd purchased it to use at the open mic. And so I had to force myself to go to the open mic because I'd already bought the amplifier.
Yeah.
And I had the amplifier for about 10 months. And then I eventually sort of went to the open mic, and things just exploded from there. Like the guy that ran the open mic, asked me to be in his band, and we sort of played around Townsville. I'm in another band now. I played around North Queensland, played a few music festivals and things. So, it's been pretty awesome. And I just find it like super amusing that, like such a small, tiny little instrument, people just love it so much, and they'll even pay you to play it. It's really cool.
And I take it you. So I see all your It's Friday videos, right? And it
Yep.
seems to me from seeing that it looks like you're pretty much every weekend. Yeah, you like go to something where you can either listen to music or play somewhere, or is that just the impression I'm getting from that?
Well, it's good that they give that impression, because that's what I want. Like I want to sort of, show that there's a bit of a music scene. Because we were talking about like before we started, like how much blues and that there isn't really a lot of blues around like Australia either. Like people love blues all over the world, and like we get good crowds, but like a lot of people, like they come up to me after the show and they said, I've never seen anyone play harmonica. And like my guitarist, she plays slide guitar, she sings, she's like awesome. Like people just haven't seen those sort of things. So the reason I made those Friday videos was to get practice talking in front of a camera. Like Jason, my teacher, he edits all his videos, and I wanted to learn how to speak to a camera and not sort of talk like an Australian and go, and yeah, mate, I don't know, I think maybe. So I wanted to practice like having like a good voice, and also like when I started, I was in sort of two bands and I was playing a lot. So I used to make the Friday videos so that I could remember where I was playing, because I thought if I don't put it in the video, like someone would say, hey, we're supposed to have a gig on Sunday. And I'll be like, oh, yeah, thanks. So I've forgotten about that. So I used to actually play a lot, but it's sort of interesting from... Hello, Brian. There's another little message just sort of popped up.
Hello, Brian.
It's interesting getting started, because like I've got a full-time job. Like I'm not a full-time musician. I've got a day job. But when you sort of start, like you don't feel really confident, and it's easy to take like sort of a lot of jobs for no money. Like you get started. People say, I'll play here for free, play there for free. And it's really sort of hard to get the balance of like, oh, okay, I'm playing all the time, but I'm basically playing myself to play, and like professionals are doing this as well. Like I'm literally competing with the guys that do this for a living. Like I don't want to be undercutting them all the time. So I started to sort of like...
I'm feeling you on that, because, you see what I'm doing, and I'm not bad, but I'm not... a professional harmonica player. I'm self-employed. I'm a professional translator. That's why I'm able to talk so smoothly with you in your own tongue,
Yeah, I was always wondering how you did that because like, I watch your videos and like because you've got the German part at the start and then you switch into English, and I'm just like, oh, that must just be so hard to do. So it makes sense now if that's related to your
it,
profession.
to be honest, it is, but for me, it's strange because I learned all my harmonica stuff in English
I remember you mentioning
because
that. Yeah.
my teacher was, and I'm now giving the secrets out. My main teacher was Will Wilde, and I don't need to tell you who Will Wilde is, right?
He's super
Um,
awesome. He's very cool.
yeah, he's absolutely amazing. And naturally, then you can't really talk German with that guy, And
Yep.
and then I learned all of that stuff, like this is your flat seven, this is your flat third, right? And for me, I never knew what that was in German.
You got to like, translate
So
it across. Yeah.
so so the German part is usually even harder for me to do
So you're sort of
because
translating from a foreign
I
language
never
into your
learned
own.
that stuff in German, So
Yep.
it is perfectly possible that my German in that case is not always that accurate. Because I never did that in German, It's easier for me to do that in English.
but you sing in English as well, like, and I must say,
Yeah,
like, you've got a really nice singing voice, mate. I like how you sing. Like, you sound cool.
I mean, I don't like my voice that much, but that
Ah,
is, I think nobody does, I guess.
yeah, I'm the same. I hate my singing voice. But now you've got this like because I watch it. You've got this like a bit like a band leader, like a guy in like the tuxedo hat and sort of thing, like out the front of the stage. Like you've got this awesome sort of 50s, 60s like big band sort of vibe. Like I
Yeah,
love how you do your
I
edits and
like
things.
I like that swinging saxophone stuff. I have a lot of saxophone in my songs, and when it
Yep.
starts off, when I'm writing music, it's first of all it's all MIDI, and then it starts to. And then I go online. There is a platform called BandLab, and then I never see these guys. I just write there in the whatever that is. I write, look, I have this song. I need a saxophone there, and I need a guitar there, right? And the end result is basically then the musicians from there replacing what I
Yeah.
like laid out for them in MIDI,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
of
That's
course I can't play that all myself.
Well, I've watched all your edits and things, and like I don't use that sort of editing software. I'm like sort of very basic. I don't really understand all that sort of stuff. But yeah, you do like really complex stuff with your arrangements, and like it's sort of cool. But I did want to say, as someone who speaks English, like you've got a really good voice. Don't feel worried about your voice or anything. Like it sounds nice.
Thank you. I think you're the first one saying that, but thank you very much.
No, you do. I like how you sing. It's cool.
And I mean, you need to know, and that's something else that Will taught me basically. You need to know the boundaries, the limits of your own voice, and don't go beyond that. That's just the thing, You need to know where your limits are, because otherwise it will sound pretty bad. I guess.
Yeah. But I think too, like it's an important thing for like harmonicas because like most of the times we're an accompanist, like we're not sort of doing all of the band ourselves, and like especially if you're like like my students and things and like yours on YouTube, like I really like to focus on like just the fundamentals of harmonica because you don't need to learn a lot of stuff to get up on stage, but it really helps if you can sing a song as well. because like, if you sort of like, oh guys, what do you want to play? It's like no one knows. They might call something that you don't know. But like if you say, hey, I can do On the Road Again, like an old Canned Heat song or something, they go, oh, okay, yeah, we can play that. And like it doesn't, as long as you sort of look, I don't think I've got a really great singing voice either, and it doesn't help that the singer in our duo is like exceptionally good.
Yeah.
But as long as you're honest and just sort of like you said, don't try to get outside your range or anything. Like, singing's it's. I was going to say it's fun, but no, it's not. I'm a bit shy for singing.
I mean, I don't like the singing part that much, to be honest. I do it because it's sort of expected,
It's necessary. Yep. And it helps with like, because you mentioned songwriting too. Like it helps a lot with writing songs because like you can cheat with your words, you can convey a lot of emotions and things through your lyrics, and then the playing the harmonica is the easy part.
But I don't really worry about the harmonica because I'm good with the harmonica. I'm not a Jason Ritchie or a Will Wild, but I'm good, and I know the harmonica, whatever I'm doing, will be fine.
It's the part you don't have to have, and like that's important too with bands and things, like people that want to get into bands. Like the music that you play actually becomes the least important thing. Like it's turning up on time, it's not being an idiot, it's like helping out with the PA gear and everything. So the level of like musicianship that you sort of need, like you've really just got to be able to like keep it all together. Like you don't have to be like Jason or Will or anyone like that. And actually, I'll tell a story. Community's sort of fun with music too. So like I know a band, Lady Valiant. They're like a proper professional band. Like they've got CDs and everything like that. And their singer, she plays harmonica, and we're sort of friends. Like I got to be friends with their guitarist Marty from like a concert. We were like sort of comparing songs on our set lists and just sort of having a few jokes and things. And so I went to see them at like the Mission Beach Blues Bar, which is like a really cool blues bar. And Gina sort of mentioned, she said, "Oh, I'm really nervous about playing because I'm playing for you." And I'm like, well, firstly, I'm not that great, but like, it's nice that people are sort of nervous and things. And so she played, and like, and I said to her afterwards, I said, hey, do you just want some honest feedback on the harmonica? And she's like, oh yeah, you really sort of thing. I said, absolutely perfect. I said, like, you did everything you needed to. It was nice emotion for the song. Like, you don't have to be Will Wild or Jason. Like, you just be honest and like convey your music, and like people just love harmonica. Like they really do. Like, you get a bar full of people, they'll come up to you afterwards and just enjoy it. It's such a fun instrument. It's just like really good to play.
But they usually, Harp Dreamer says, Will Wild is very, very good and crazy. He's been playing for what, like, feels like 100 years. Yeah, but you might be surprised because he's still in his mid-30s. So.
Oh wow! Okay, he does seem like he started very young, I guess, because he does seem like he's been playing forever. Like
yeah, and he I mean, the strongest part with him is his vibrato. Like, his vibrato is crazy, man. I have never, ever heard somebody else, not even Jason Ritchie. And Jason Ritchie is like, okay, if you leave out Howard Levy, because Howard Levy is just Howard Levy.
Howard Levy. Yep.
There's Howard Levy, and then there is nothing, and then is everybody else.
Yeah. Although Philippe Jers is like a bit of a phenomenal player as well. Like that guy's freaky. Like, he's really good. He's one of the people that Jason gets lessons off sometimes. So yeah.
But I'll never be even one of those guys. But yeah,
but you can still you can still make your own music. You can write your own songs. Like you said, you're creating tracks and you're getting together with other people. Like, music's just so much. Like how I met you. Like, we wouldn't be talking if it wasn't for music. And like we're from opposite ends of the world.
And I must say, I was never like, if 20 years ago, and I'm actually older than I look, but because I turned 40 a few weeks ago.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. And if somebody told me like 20 years ago, you're gonna be publishing YouTube videos on a platform with other musicians, I mean, I was never like so socialized.
Yeah.
A socialized type, you know.
That's a really good point. That's something I sort of wanted to mention because, like, like I'm sort of like the shy sort of background guy and everything, and like, going to open mics and things like that was like really difficult. Like, it's just terrifying. It's actually fun when you do it, but there's actually like a lot of musicians out there that are like us, like they're sort of introverted and shy. But you've got to be like the big sort of act because otherwise no one hears about you. Like, I'd just be like I was, just like, sitting in my bedroom playing harmonica for nobody. It's like...
I mean, the thing is, if you want to have progress, you need to play with other people. I mean, you can't be in your room doing that all. You need to... Playing for yourself is great, but you need to... It's completely different to play with people and knowing what the guy does, knowing when the turnaround comes, knowing when to bring the stuff home.
It's another foreign language. Like you're really talking to each other. Like when it's sort of, because like I love like improvisation and just sort of going for it. And like when you really sort of lock in with someone and like you're sort of up there on stage and like have a bit of look, go more and you do this more. It's like it's super cool. And like I hear what Brian says there too. He goes like, man, I get nervous when I press record and there's no one else in the room. Exactly the same. Like for this live stream, I sort of thought, it's going to be live. Like, I don't like to edit my video.
Man, you don't want to know how nervous I was, man.
Well, you're running, and I only had to turn up. So like, that's another important thing too, because like you sort of said to me, do you want to do the live stream? One of the most important lessons that Jason taught me was say yes. So like you sort of said, do you want to do a live stream? Like, I'm anxious. I don't know. Like, will the times work? Will anybody come and watch? It's like, just say yes. And like today was excellent. Like it honestly felt a bit like I was having a gig or something. Like I started to get nervous as the day went on, and a bit of that sort of performance sort of vibe and things. So it's been really cool to do this. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was nervous too because I had to do all the tech stuff, get to work, and I was like half an hour early here because I just was panicking that the tech stuff wouldn't work or something like that.
It's like that at gigs too. Like it's like is the PA going to... Well, like I run a pedal board, so like I've got 13 pedals, and like 99% of the time it'll work fine. But sometimes like one of the connections is loose and there's a lot of connections. So like as I take it out of the box and plug it in, like until I actually hear that it makes a noise, I'm like, oh sweet, it's all good. But like it's like, you just sort of freak out.
Yes. I mean that's also something I wanted to ask you, because I have a pedal board and a very nice one. I have like 3 pedals. I have the Boogeyman, the Boogeyman.
Oh, right? Yeah, nice. Yep.
It is actually 3 pedals in one. It has delay. It has tone, whatever tone is.
Yeah, that tone. Well, it's sort of plus tone and minus tone. It like puts up the bass or the treble. Yeah, yep.
And it has break. So like the harp break, basically, right?
Which is my favorite distortion pedal. I use a harp break.
And then of course I have, because I'm in a very small single apartment, I have the harp shield so that I don't run into feedback issues. And then I have the Electro Harmonix what is that called? The organ machine, which gives
Oh,
me
yep.
uh, like crazy organ sound, which is pretty cool. But I would like to know a little bit about your pedal boards. So what else do you have? Do you have the reverb thing? The hard reverb?
Yeah, it's a bit hard. Well, it's not hard to explain. It's hard to sort of visualize without a like a picture of it. And it's in its box at the moment. It's quite heavy. I can't easily get it like a harmonica. But
Yeah,
basically,
I can see
I'll,
that.
I'll,
You know.
I'll run through what I have in order. So it's got a Boss wireless that goes into the harp shield, which is sort of anti-feedback. I then run into a flat cat, oh no, a clean cat, which is like an optical boost. That's one of Jason's pedals. That goes into my heartbreak, which is a distortion. And then all of that goes into a flat cat, which is a compressor. Now, all of those things are on all the time. And basically what they do is they make my stick microphone that I use sound more like the bullet microphones that you use. So
Okay.
cool. So yeah, so they're the always on pedals, and then I've got like effects and things. So like I've got an envelope filter, which is an auto wah. I've got like the chorus pedal. The chorus pedal is actually one of Jason's pedals. It's a Stigtronic. He gave that to me. It's a really nice chorus for harmonica. I've got a couple of delays because like I just like delays. I've got a Boss delay and I've got a tap tempo delay. That's a bit sort of show offy, but I don't use that much. I use that in like, reggae bands and those sort of things. And after all of that, then we've got a reverb. Then we've got the sonic stomp, which is a bit like a graphic equalizer. And depending on if I'm using
Okay, I see.
yeah, so if I'm using my amp, which is a Fender Vibrolux, I just go straight into the amp. If I don't have the amp with me on the pedal board, there's a Styromon Iridium, which is an amp simulator, and it can simulate my amplifier. So when I'm playing on like basically anywhere that I play where I'm doing my own sound, I'm using my amplifier because we run our own PA at the sort of level that we are. When we're doing concerts and things where like, there's a sound engineer, a sound tech, that sort of thing, I just bring up the pedal board and I use everything off the pedal board. So I use my amp sim and basically just plug it into their DI and they do all the sound from there. So there's a hell of a lot of pedals and I use a lot of pedals, but I started with one. And then I decided, okay, I want the next sound. And then I want the next sound. And like, I'd like to sound like an organ, which I left out of my lineup. There's an organ pedal in there as well. I've got a subbing up.
And to be honest, that can be sometimes a bit of a problem because there is so much out there that can be really addictive, and you need to.
I've got a pile of them. These are like unused pedals that like don't get on the pedal board, but like I can't get rid of them because they're awesome. It's like I've got I've even got one of these. They don't even make these anymore.
Oh man, I'm feeling you on that, man. I know what you mean. Because you have to really restrain. You have to really restrain yourself not to constantly buy something new.
You can go nuts buying them. Yes, yeah. And they're a bit of a tradable things too, because like the guitar players, like distortions, like a guitar distortion usually has a bit too much gain for harmonica because we're an acoustic instrument.
Yeah,
all the other guitar pedals,
run into a lot of feedback when you do that.
Yeah, you get lots of feedback, but all the other guitar pedals work fine. So I hang out on a few like pedal board forums and look at all the nice guitar pedals and things. So it's fun.
So just to tell the guys a bit of my story. So I started harmonica playing when I was at the early age of 15. But it wasn't really on purpose, if that makes. So I don't know if you know that, but I am disabled. So I need a wheelchair, and I am sort of, so I can't, my hands don't work like your hands work. So I can't really, play.
You can't play saxophone. Yeah.
No. So I was basically, since I was young, I always wanted to play an instrument. And like every cool kid, I wanted to play guitar, of course, right? And
Yep.
then that obviously was a little bit that didn't quite work well. Uh,
Yep.
so I basically, and then I got into my Jethro Tull
Ah.
period, you know, and then I wanted to play the flute,
Yep.
which of course also was not really realistic. Uh,
Yep.
and finally, I ended up with a little keyboard, which was okay for composing, but not really for like live performances or really getting good, you know. And
Yep.
then one fine morning, I was driving with my mother because I was still uh, not old enough
Driving. Yep.
to go somewhere on my own. And there
Mm-hmm.
was this music shop, you know, and in this window they had like, I don't know what it actually was, but they had a little picture of, I think it was little Walter, and then they had this harmonica there shining in the sun, you know. And
Yep.
then
Oh, nice.
I was like magically drawn to it, and then we went in. I actually had to persuade my mother a bit because by that time I had tried so much and never really succeeded in doing something good. You know, she
Yep.
was a little bit skeptical, and I can't blame her for that.
Yep.
Uh,
Having to buy another instrument, but at least it was a harmonica and not a flute or a saxophone or a keyboard like that. They
yeah,
are
it
they're a
was
cheap
quite
way.
affordable. It
Yeah.
was quite affordable, you know. And then this harmonica came with, you know how that is. So if you go to a music store, they will usually they will usually sell you like a book with it, you know.
Yep. Goes in a book. Yes. Yep.
And and it came with that book, and I was like totally obsessed, man. Uh, I went I went home with that book. Like I still have it somewhere. I don't know where, but uh,
Yep.
I still have it somewhere. And
Was it the little rectangular books? Like, was it a small book, or was
yeah,
it like a?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it
It's a
wasn't
little
about
pamphlet sort
blues
of thing.
playing or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'm sure I've seen them. I know what you mean. Yeah, they're like a small format book, and yeah, they've got tunes and things in them. You can play a few different songs. I actually had one for saxophone. They're really, whatever the series of books is, they've got some good information in them. They started a lot of people playing music. It's like,
And I really was obsessed. And then I forgot to eat. I forgot to drink. Uh, you know,
you were just playing all the time.
yeah. And my mother and I was really starting to annoy her because I wasn't really good at the time, you know, and it just didn't sound good. And she used to come in my room then, like with something to eat, and so like saying then, sweetie, don't you want to have a little break or something like
And you're
that?
like, no, I'm busy. I know it. Like, cool. And so, how long was it? How long was it until you met like Will? Was like Will your first teacher, or did you have other teachers
That
before
no,
Will?
he wasn't my first teacher, but he was my like latest teacher. Uh,
Yeah, your main teacher. Yeah.
I didn't really have a teacher before him. It is like, what is it, 5 years ago now that I met him on YouTube actually. Um,
Ah, yep.
oh, but I was already relatively good when I met him, but he
Yep.
really pushed me over the edge, you know.
Yeah. Yep. and that's the good thing with teachers too, because like I mentioned my granddad sort of thing, but most of the sort of techniques that I got how I played, it's like Jerry Portnoy made a 3 CD masterclass. It's like Jerry Portnoy's Harmonica Masterclass, and like I just used to play those CDs all the time. It was really expensive, and there wasn't like a lot of reviews or anything on it. And I sort of thought, oh no, like I've heard of Jerry Portnoy, I'll try it. And I actually got to speak to him on a web seminar a few years back, one that Dennis Grueling was doing, and yeah, he mentioned that he made that course because all his students had come in with the same sort of techniques and books and things, and he just wanted to make something different that sort of like addressed all their problems. And yeah, he said the only thing he would have changed on the course is, he said, I would have like got people to use 3 blow a bit more. He said, I didn't talk about 3 blow and 2 draw and like, you know, when to use one or the other. He said, but apart from that, he's really happy with his course. And yeah, it's what kept me going with harmonic, playing saxophone, and like, you know, in like sort of school orchestras and things like that. But I just always sort of like the, and the other thing too, because like I was playing wind instruments, you know, like you mentioned guitar, I couldn't play guitar. I was like no good at keyboard or anything, and like I wanted something that'd do a chord, like to be able to play more than one note at once. Like, yeah, when you're playing saxophones and things, like, you can sort of do it when you get really good. You can do like split tones and things. But yeah, just to be able to play like a simple chord, and this chuggy vamp that they do, this like that sort of stuff is so much fun. Like,
that was one of the first things I did when I tried to do blues stuff, but it didn't sound as good as you did it right now. But
no,
by the way, I just started to get a little bit into natural minor harmonicas. I don't know my way that good at the moment, but it still sounds nice. So if you do the chord on a natural minor harmonica, you have something like this. Yeah.
Lovely, cool.
And it is interesting because you see, I haven't been able to find the layout for this thing, but you seem to have one band more in the 2 draw. So you can bend it like you do the 3 draw, basically.
The 3, an extra step.
On a normal Richter tune harmonica.
Yeah. So with Will being your teacher, do you play like wild harps? Do you like play wild tuning? Or
I have a wild harp, but it is good, but I'm a Richter guy. I still have to switch my head around.
Back to that. Yeah, because I don't really. I've got a few alternative tunings, but I don't like sort of play them. I just like have a listen to them. But yeah, and it's the same with chromatics. Like I'm actually getting someone to make me a conch chromatic at the moment, which is the diatonic style with the button. Because once I get past that Richter layout, I forget where my notes are. Like I'm so used to that note pattern. Yeah.
Actually, I have a chromatic harmonica and I can play it, but to be honest, what I usually do is I just play everything in D minor, which gives me the opportunity to avoid using the slide.
Yep. And a lot of guys did that too. Like there's a lot of chromatic stuff in D with people just playing like that. I just prefer the sound of the bends on a diatonic. Like they're such a
because you only have micro bends on a chromatic harmonica.
Yeah, it's such an expressive instrument for such a tiny little thing that you can just carry with you everywhere. It's like they're almost magical, aren't they? It's like they're so special.
Hot Dreamer Music talks about stage fright. Yeah, we all have it, but yeah.
But he got better after 5 months. So yeah, as you get more experience, you go, oh, okay, it wasn't that bad. Yeah, no one jumped up in the audience and said that 3-draw half-step bend is too sharp.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I always have had stage fright before I went on stage. Once I was on stage, I didn't have the time to be afraid because
Yeah. It's the waiting. Like as you get more experience, it gets sort of better. Like it depends on what the gig's like. I sort of find once I've like the first time I've got to go to a venue is just a nightmare because like I've got to drive. Where am I going to park? Am I at the right spot? What's their PA going to be like? Do I have to use my own PA? There's just so many things. And then as you sort of get more experience, you go, oh, that's okay. Oh, that's not so bad. And being up on stage itself is just like is super cool fun. It's really cool. So,
I mean, did you see my video about the gig I had where the stage was basically too small for my for my I can tell you that was I mean the audience didn't realize it, but for me that was terrifying, And try to do a show when you're constantly in fear of falling off the stage, man.
It's not conductive to playing, is it? But it's a bit like what we sort of said before. Like the musicianship part of it is almost overlooked. It's like put everybody on this tiny little bandstand. It's like. Is there power? Oh, there's an extension cord going over there somewhere. It's like, So what's Brian saying? Brian's saying I'm going to go busking in May when I have been learning exactly 3 years. Oh, I promised myself to put myself under pressure and play. Yeah, Brian, definitely go for it, man. Like,
do that, cool. Man, do that. And if you can, do a video about it and let us see how it is going.
One of the things that I like to do, and very much exactly like what Brian said, like put myself under pressure. Because harmonicas are so tiny, I would carry an A harmonica everywhere. And like for a few years there, every time I saw a busker, I would go up and say, hey, do you want to play a blues in E? Like that was my challenge to myself to try and meet people and play. And basically 95% of the time, everyone was wonderful. Like there was a couple of people that were a bit sort of, but like everyone's man, come on, we'll play some tunes together, have a bit of fun. Like Brian, you will have a blast, mate. You'll have so much fun. You'll really enjoy it.
That is the thing. Most of the time, the anxious, the anxiety we have is unjustified.
Yep.
Because everything went somehow. It doesn't mean that there is nothing going wrong or something like that. But, but people will usually be cool about it,
Yeah, exactly. People are understanding, and like the big disaster sometimes isn't actually like as bad as you thought it was. It's like
Cool. I mean, I had good. I don't really go out playing anymore because now I have a full-time job, and with being disabled and touring is or going is not really that isn't cool, to be honest. It usually is a lot of challenges. It usually is more trouble than you want to put yourself into, to be honest.
But once you've done it, then you can make those sort of decisions. Like you're not sort of saying, "Oh no, I can't do it," or "I think it's going to be too hard." It's like, no, I've done that, and now I don't really want to put myself under that much pressure anymore. Those sort of things, and it's like it's perfect. I sort of think,
By the way, now it is time. We're almost an hour in, and now it is time for the shameless self-promotion, I guess.
Yes,
So if you have somewhere some records you did or something, you can tell us now where to find that, because that would be interesting for
Oh,
me to know.
I didn't think of the record. I actually did record a record with it's all friends things. So one of my friends is in a band. He writes his own music, and the person recording it actually said, "Oh, we need some harmonica." So he asked me, "Did you want to play on the record?" So
Yeah,
that's
that's
all.
usually what happens to me too, you know?
Yeah. So that one's on Bandcamp. That's the Pocket Onions is the band, and the record's called Broken Dreams, and I've got 3 tracks on that one. So that's the
Maybe
record.
later, if maybe later when the stream is finished, you can put a link to
Yeah, I'll link it
that
for that. Yeah,
in the description or
because
in the comments or something.
yeah, that's my mate Ron's band. So like the Pocket Onions. I don't play with them very often, but I have done like that record, and we did some stuff on like festivals and things like that. Basically, because we're already playing at the same festival, so like we all sort of know each other. We're all friends. We like we share members back and forth between different bands. Like if someone's not available, you pinch someone else's drummer. Like the community of like just playing music locally. Like we talked way at the start, like there wasn't a lot of blues. Like, but the people that do play blues, they're into it, and so like you get together, you do all the things. So like, I used to play Old Salty and the Catfish Blues Band. That's one of the bands that I've sort of been in. You can find them on YouTube.
Okay.
And yeah, and then the one that I really like, so like our current band is with Debbie Candlish, and we're called Blues Naked. Look us up on Facebook. Don't look us up on Google. You can get all sorts of scary things unsafe on
Okay.
Google. But like we are on Facebook, and yes, a Blues Naked. And because we just do stripped back Delta blues, just harmonica, slide guitar, and singing. It's awesome fun. And playing music, you get to meet awesome people. Like all the people that have typed in the chat. Meet you, Pat. It's like it's been really cool.
I have I don't have a band, so I am in a band, if you call that. So it is a virtual band.
It sounds like you're in a band when you're on YouTube, because you've got the full band behind you. You've got you singing.
Yeah,
it's
but
like,
that is
man,
not
you sound like a band.
That
No.
is like recorded. Record that is like recorded simultaneously.
Yeah.
I sent my track, my unfinished track. I sent to them, and they like record that stuff over that. So I then put the whole thing when it's finished on YouTube, so that it sounds like I'm in a band, but I'm not. So
it's the advantages of modern technology, because like a lot of us are like, by ourselves. Like there's not a lot of harmonica players in Townsville.
but
like you said, sometimes you've got to reach out in the World Wide Web.
yeah, but that is basically it. At the moment. I hope that will be different sometime, but at the moment it's just the only alternative I have, because I can't really go very far anymore, because I don't have the time and I don't have the equipment, because I then would need someone to help me with whatever stuff.
Everything.
Yeah. But I have written music, and I am on basically every streaming service you can. I have now, I don't know, it is 2 albums, I guess, I have on. And I'm currently writing to put another one out, but I'm not quite finished. There is not enough material right now to do, of course.
And it's also
because
it's also finding the time too, because like we're not professional musicians. Like I've got the day job that I've sort of got to go to all the time. You've got to work as well. So like you can run out of time to sort of get all this stuff together, eh?
And then it's not like, okay, now I have an hour, I can write a song. You need to come up with ideas.
But most of my
And
songs get written between like 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning when I wake up and I can't sleep, and I've got like a voice
yeah,
recorder on my mobile, and like
that is
I
so
say the
strange.
lyrics into that.
That is so strange because the same thing happens to me. I write usually in the middle of the night when uh,
It
nothing
just sort of
else
comes into
is
your brain.
working.
Yeah, weird, isn't it? Life of a musician, mate.
Uh, and uh, and the starting point usually sounds pretty bad, so you get only the
Oh yeah,
finished product.
yep,
You
yep.
know,
I sometimes listen to them back in the morning and I go, "What am I thinking?" And then other times you go, "Oh, this is really nice." So yeah,
yeah. So and it is always a little bit different than I had it in mind when I first started. The end result is usually always a bit different because then other musicians come up when I ask them to play something. They come up with ideas I never would have thought about.
yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Like I was running one of our new songs to get ready for like a gig that we did recently, and like my mates that well we're all friends, but like my mate the bass player sort of like said, oh I could put like sounds a bit like this, I can put this in there, and I'm like it wasn't what I was thinking of at all, but I'm like oh yeah, like really it's just working together to make stuff. It's like it's so cool. Music is just fun. It's like get out there and
so
play some music, guys.
so there is one important question I still have to ask because everyone asks me that when it comes to that. Uh, to be honest, there are 12 positions in harmonica playing usually, right? We all talk about positions all the time.
Yep,
Be
yep.
honest, how many positions have you touched right now in your like
Yep, yep.
40, 30 years of
Yeah, so I've
I
been
can tell you I'm usually only playing first, a second, of course, second is
yep, yep.
what everybody does, and then third,
So
maybe a little bit of fourth, and I have done something in fifth, but I am going to be honest, sixth, seventh, yeah, and then 12,
uh,
because 12 is really nice. You have seen my 12 position videos, right?
mhm.
Uh,
Yeah, you did a
uh,
good job on the 12th position. So yeah, like
um,
seriously, after five, in my opinion, they're basically unusable. Like just buy another harmonica. Like if you're going to be running in like sixth or
yeah,
seventh or something
yeah,
like that,
that's what I found.
it's really hard. It's Howard Levy territory. So what I play in basically all the time is second position. I will
Yeah,
play in third a little bit, maybe like one song a night. And honestly, I even hardly play in first position. I played one first position song for a drum circle, and it was my first position song from like when I learnt stuff on harmonica. So second position all the time, third position a little bit, first basically never. I play 12th more than first, honestly. Like 12th is the first
I do first position, but I usually go pretty low, like a G harmonica, and then that is the
yeah,
higher notes, or
yeah,
even with my Thunderbird, right? That
yeah.
is, but it, I do I everything I do is not special,
Yep.
I stand on the shoulders of the giants that came before me,
They're the ones that helped us like learn all this sort of stuff. So exactly, yeah. So, but yeah, like most of the time I play in second position, which is why being able to overblow makes it so nice. Like with a teacher like Jason and being able to overblow, like second position just becomes wonderful because you've just got like this is a stock up, so it doesn't do the seven overdraw. It's like Yeah, second position's fun.
I mean, that is another thing. I think harmonica players do worry too much when they start. Because yes, overblowing and overdrawing is a cool thing. But it is not as important as people make it. Because
for 30 years, I've never even heard of it. Like I didn't even know it existed. So yeah. But,
to be honest, it is nice because all it does, it helps you play diatonic harmonica chromatically.
It's nice for doing this. This will be precious. This is a C harp that's like stock. So that's what overblows are fun for.
Yeah.
You can get that chromatic scale in the middle.
So what I usually do when I play overblows is I'm just bringing, and I said that in a video I did on overblowing. I bring this is my custom harmonica.
Okay.
I bring a lick I have in the lower octave. I bring it up there, right?
Put it up to the top. Yeah, yep.
Yeah. So when is it what Jason does? So when he does, I'm too strong for you. Right.
Yeah, that's a cool song too, isn't it? It's like so. It's like I'm too strong. What kind of cake you like?
Yeah, we all like cake. Come on, what kind of cake you like, guys?
That's right.
I like
I'm
chocolate
gonna bake
cake.
it right. Oh, well, now we're talking. Actually, speaking of chocolate,
I mean, I stole that. I stole that from him. I'm going to admit that, right? But that just to show what I'm doing when I'm overblown. See? So yeah.
But like they say, bad artists steal and good artists borrow. So like that's what it's about. It's like like you said, standing on the shoulders of giants. Like all these guys out there, we just get little bits and pieces off them and go, oh yeah, I can use that. And yeah, it makes it fun.
Yeah, I mean, I only could get that good because I listened to what these guys did. And
yep. And without them, I wouldn't have even known it was possible. Like until you hear people like you go.
And if we all are being honest, Little Walter and Sonny Boy and these guys, they didn't even know what overblowing and overdrawing was.
Yeah, they didn't need it. They were just they were cool enough already.
So yes, it is cool to do that, but you should, if you're starting, you shouldn't worry about that because it is too much for you when you're starting. You should.
Although it is too much. I'm a big mental, sort of positive thinking person, and I do remember Philippe Jers, who's a very, very good harmonica player. He says overblows are just as easy as normal bends. They are no more difficult, and they really aren't. You can overblow; it's not any more difficult. It's not physically demanding. It's not playing high note on a
if you
trumpet.
know how to do it, yes. But
and I think that's a good thing to possibly finish on with harmonica. Once you learn how to do it, everything's quite easy. It's not hard. You're not puffed. You're not the old bleeding lips and all those sort of things. All that stuff's history now. It's it can be a horribly frustrating instrument. You can send yourself insane trying to learn stuff on it. But once you learn it, it is just super cool, really fun.
Yeah. And it's the same with bending, I've been playing since I was 15, and I still have to learn. I still have to practice bending. I never stop practicing bending,
I wreck so many YouTube videos because I don't like to put edits in them, and I'll listen back to my bends and I'm like, it's bloody flat again. I'm gonna have to redo it.
And I always think, damn, when I was alone a minute ago, I did it perfectly well, and now I'm on camera, and You
like
know.
they said before, as soon as I press record, it just only over. Thanks so
Yeah.
much, Patrick. This has been awesome fun.
But
I'm going to have to
I
go very
don't want
soon.
to take you too long. So it
Yes.
has been very nice. Maybe we can do it again sometimes. And if there's somebody in the chat or somewhere seeing this and wants to be the next one on a live stream, because I really want to bring the community that is not Jason Ritchie or Will Wild or these
Like,
top guys. They are great, but there are so many of you of us out there. We need to get to know each other, I think.
yeah, like
Um,
all you guys that put comments on our videos, like Jean and well, Pat obviously who always comments on my videos. Yeah, it's just it's fun getting together and talking about music. So thank you for
so
asking me. I've had a great
if
time.
you want to come here with me and talk with me about harmonica or whatever you want, let me know. You can be the next on the stream, right?
Yeah.
So Mel, it has been a blast. I really thank you from the bottom of my harmonica heart. You know,
Thanks, mate.
I'm looking forward to seeing more of your videos. There is
Yes.
about to come out something from me, but
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
So watch out for that. Um, uh, and I wish you a very nice evening in your case. And
Thank you,
now
sir.
I will.
You have a
And
great
now I
rest of
will
the
go.
day.
And I will go to the groceries now and have me something to eat.
I think I'm going to have a pizza for dinner. I think my partner's home by now. I think I heard her upstairs. So yeah.
Okay, so then give her my nice regards
Thank you.
and enjoy the pizza, right? Thanks for being with me.
Thanks for asking me. Thanks to everyone in the chat. Thanks for all the questions, guys. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. That was it. Thank you.